What happened when Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei exited Cannes? Everyone was shocked. The atmosphere at the closing night of the 2026 Cannes Film Festival shifted from orderly to unbelievable, as if reality had lost control and the emotions of thousands of people had exploded simultaneously at one point. No one was truly prepared for Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei to appear at the main exit that night. Everything had been meticulously scheduled. Everything was supposed to proceed according to strict protocols, swiftly, and without interruption. But what happened was the exact opposite, like a script rewritten by the crowd, who had waited too long and whose emotions could no longer be contained. Since the afternoon, the area around the venue had been filled with fans from various countries. They stood close together, carrying simple posters, their phones constantly recording, and their anticipation growing as the hours ticked by. No one actually moved to leave, as if everyone knew something big was about to happen at the end of the night. Typically, every celebrity leaving Cannes is escorted tightly, whisked quickly to their vehicle without any significant interaction. But that night, the security lines that usually acted as invisible walls began to feel fragile in the face of enthusiasm beyond anyone's expectations on set. When the vehicle doors opened, the first cheers erupted like sparks in a room fueled by emotion. Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei were seen for a moment before stepping out, and in that 1 second, the crowd transformed into a massive, unstoppable wave. Their names were shouted from all directions, overlapping, until individual voices dissolved into one long echo that shook the Cannes night air. Cameras were raised higher, hands shook, and the previously controlled atmosphere began to lose its structure. But the most unexpected moment occurred just a few steps later. Zhang Linghe suddenly slowed his pace, followed by Tian Xiwei, who turned to the crowd. There was no script, no direction, just human reflexes touched by the energy around them. Within seconds, both of them stopped. Instantly, the cheers turned into louder screams, some even crying, as if the world had just given them a farewell gift no one had planned. Their hands rose, waving a brief greeting. The smiles that emerged weren't stage smiles, but something more fragile, a mix of exhaustion, emotion, and shock at the overwhelming response. The moment felt like the line between star and fan had completely dissolved. Security officers, who'd been on standby from the start, sprang into action. They tried to clear the way, signaling for the movement to be under control. But the more they tried to control the crowd, the stronger the wave of emotion from the crowd, unwilling to let the moment end so quickly. Several reports suggested that security coordination that night was truly tested, not by the threat, but by the intensity of emotions that exceeded standard procedures. No rehearsal scenario could truly prepare for a situation where thousands of people simultaneously wanted only one thing: more of the moment. Within minutes, videos from the scene began circulating around the world. Social media was filled with footage captured from various angles, some shaky, some blurry, some so close that only breathing and screaming could be heard. Public comment immediately flooded in. Many called it one of the most raw moments ever seen at a modern film festival, when the line between formal event and human emotion completely collapsed without any filter. Amidst the crowd, one eyewitness described the atmosphere as uncontrolled, yet incredibly human. Not because of the chaos, but because everyone there seemed to be feeling the same thing at the same time. The tension between protocol and emotion that night was like two colliding currents. On one side were strict rules trying to maintain order. On the other was a collective energy that no structure could suppress. As the vehicles finally began to move, the moment gradually diminished, but the emotional resonance only grew louder. The cheers persisted even as distance began to grow, as if the separation refused to truly end. Some cultural observers have called this incident a symbol of the changing way the public interacts with celebrity figures in the modern era, more intimate, more emotional, and less restrained by the formal constraints of major events. On the other hand, others saw it as a reminder that beneath the glitz of international festivals, there are always the simplest elements: people wanting to be seen and other people wanting to connect. That night in Cannes left no major transgression, nor was it a tragedy. What remained was something more difficult to explain, A brief moment when thousands of people and two figures in the spotlight met in a shared emotion. And when the last camera stopped rolling, what remained was not just the traces of the festival, but the lasting echo of a farewell that was never planned, yet ultimately one of the most difficult to forget. But the story of that night didn't end when the vehicle carrying Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei began to pull away from the festival grounds. It was only after they disappeared from view that the reactions of fans further demonstrated the impact of the moment. Many remained in the same place, staring out at the now empty streets, as if trying to process what they had experienced just minutes earlier. In various corners of the Cannes area, spontaneous conversations immediately erupted. People who had previously been strangers began exchanging videos, comparing angles, and recounting what they had seen with their own eyes. The atmosphere that usually eases after celebrities leave the venue instead transformed into an impromptu storytelling forum filled with excitement and disbelief. What made the event even more captivating was the fact that nothing major had been planned beforehand. There was no stage set, no formal greetings, and no special announcements hinting that something extraordinary was about to happen. It all stemmed from a split-second decision that evolved into an event remembered by thousands simultaneously. On social media, pieces of the video began to fit together like a giant puzzle. From one angle, Tian Xiwei could be seen smiling at the crowd, while from another, Zhang Linghe could be seen waving before security officers directed them back to the exit. Each footage revealed a different detail, and that was precisely what made the audience feel as if they were there. Many fans said they had come just to see the two from afar for a few seconds. But that simple expectation transformed into a far more profound emotional experience. Some even said the long journey to Cannes felt worth it for that brief moment, which lasted no more than a few moments. This phenomenon also demonstrates how the relationship between public figures and fans has evolved in recent years. In an era when almost all interactions take place through screens, a genuine face-to-face encounter holds far greater power. A simple wave or a quick smile can now create a ripple of emotion that reaches millions of people around the world. Over time, international entertainment media outlets began highlighting the event as one of the unexpected highlights of Cannes 2026. Interestingly, their discussions focused not only on the large crowds or the security challenges, but also on the emotional atmosphere that emerged naturally and was difficult to engineer at an event of any magnitude. Even days after the festival ended, footage of the evening continued to circulate and garner new attention. Each time the video resurfaced, thousands of new comments emerged from people who claimed to have felt the same way, even though they were only watching it through a mobile screen. This phenomenon demonstrated that collective emotions can sometimes transcend distance, language, and cultural differences. Ultimately, what made the evening so memorable wasn't the grandeur of the Cannes Film Festival or the global stature of the two stars. What truly sticks in the minds of many is the simplicity of a moment when two figures in the spotlight choose to pause, look at the fans who have waited for hours, and then say a short goodbye that is enough to create a memory that will be told long after the festival lights go down.